Good evening, Internet. The Real Shroom here, and there was a new set that was released in Magic the Gathering, Murders at Karlov Manor. And every time there is a new set, I like to see what impact it will have on my favorite deck, which is a Dimir Disinformation Control deck that I'd like to play in Pioneer/Explorer. What is Dimir Disinformation Control? Let's take a look. Disinfo Control is a control deck that's built around the enchantment Disinformation Campaign, which you probably know. It's a 3-mana Dimir enchantment. Whenever when it ETBs, I draw a card. Each opponent discards a card, so it replaces itself immediately. Whenever I surveil, return it back to our hand. So this is going to be the engine that we use to grind our opponent's hand to dust over the course of the game. It's going to replace itself each time it comes to the play, so we stay the same on cards while our opponent steadily goes down, down, down. So that is the main engine and value engine for the deck. And we're a Dimir Control deck, so we're going to interact with our opponent on every region of the game. We are going to make him discard with Thoughtseize, as well as the forward Thought Erasures, which also are a Surveil effect. We're going to counter this stuff with Spell Pierce. I'm a fan of this card in Pioneer to catch those Fable of the Mirror Breakers when you're on the draw. Also, the 4 of Sinister Sabotage, which is a counterspell that surveils. Got a 1 of Saw It Coming, just as a potential 2-mana counter anything, which is very nice. 1 Supreme Will is a mana leak for 3 that can also let you look at the top 4 cards of your library and put them into your hand. So it's like it's like an impulse. And then we are going to remove our opponent's stuff with a couple of Fatal Pushes, 1 Go for the Throat, 1 Children's Edict, 1 Murderous Rider I'm trying out tonight, just because I wanted another like kill anything effect. And the 2/3 lifelink body that it can produce actually isn't totally irrelevant in aggressive matchups like against soldiers or mono red. You can't just play it as a 2/3 lifelink to buy you an extra turn or two. And then of course we've got our sweepers. We are a control deck. We are going to get behind on the board, and we do need to catch up. Got a couple of Ritual Suit, which is good against most everything that's played in Pioneer. Really good against Rakdos, for instance. 1 Meat Hook Massacre in the game is also very good against low to the ground, especially decks. And it gains you life to catch up from the life deficit that you've garnered in the early part of the game. And then we've got our win cons. Our win cons are we've got an Urtai Resurrected, which is sort of a catch-all. It's removal, it's a counter spell. Doesn't make our opponent draw a card, but we're going to make them discard stuff with Disinformation Campaign anyway. We've got so much redundant discard, that's not really a big issue. Our main finisher is going to be Ashiok Nightmare Muse, which makes 2/3 tokens that exile our opponent's stuff. The -3 effect is a Din Roa Horror activation, so it bounces a non-land permanent to their hand and then makes them exile a card. So if they're empty-handed, this just reads exile targets non-land permanent, which is very nice. We've got a 1 of Doom Whisperer, this big 6/6 flying trample body that lets us pay 2 life to surveil, thereby bouncing Disinfo back to our hand. And it just flies over and beats down. The surveil, yeah, is just good for the deck. It's a good beater. I like it. It's only 5 mana. And then we've got an Aklatats, which is a 5 mana 4/4 flying lifelink that makes our opponent discard each time it attacks, which obviously we want. We want the discard train to continue. And when our opponent discards a land, we get to create a 1/1 flying bat creature token, which is cool. And when it dies, it flips into a land that we can flip back over into Aklazats if our opponent is very low on cards, which they should be with all of our discard effects. So that at the core, we're a control deck that uses Disinformation Campaign to sort of grind our opponents out in the long game. So what are the pieces that we're trying out for this iteration? I played this deck about 4 times. Well, one thing that we're trying out this time that we haven't tried before in the other 4 times I played it on the channel is Search for Azcanta. At the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. So this card used to read, look at the top card of your library, then you can choose to leave it on top or put it in your graveyard, which actually is just surveil 1. And now rules text-wise, this card actually says, at the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1, which is fantastic. Search for Azcanta is just a good card anyway, letting us filter through our deck, getting our good draws, and eventually transforming into a land that lets us tutor up non-creature spells from our library is just fantastic. The fact that it just for free every turn can trigger Disinformation Campaign is just what the deck needs to take it to the next level of crazy, crazy value. And the other thing one thing that we are getting specifically from Murders at Karlov Manor is the Surveil land, Undercity Sewers. So there's this whole cycle of lands in the new set that are the land types, Island, Swamp. They add both colors of mana, they enter the battlefield tapped, but when they ETB, they surveil 1. So again, the idea of just like, you have your Disinfo down, play a land for free, you surveil 1, and bounce Disinfo back to your hand is just great. I wonder if there should be 4 copies. I'm only playing 3 because I'm a little worried about having too many tap lands, which can punish you, especially against aggressive decks. But this seems to me to be just an incredible addition to a Disinformation Campaign deck. Just anything that for free can bounce Disinfo so that you can further play Disinfo, grind your opponent out more. It just seems like exactly where the deck wants to be. And there is finally one additional card that I'm playing from the new set. Trying it out as a card draw piece. By the way, we've got a couple of memory deluges for card draw. We've got to Behold the Multiverse. When I play Foretell spells, when I play Saw It Coming, which is a card I like to play in blue decks, I like to play additional Foretell spells just to kind of keep my opponent guessing, so they don't always know that like the card that I have foretold is a Saw It Coming. So that's why I'm running a Behold the Multiverse as an additional card draw piece. From Murders at Karlov Manor, I am playing 1 Outrageous Robbery. This is 2 black and X for an instant. Target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though or mana of any type to cast it. So this card is X, double black, and X. Draw X cards, basically, which is crazy. Like, that doesn't really exist in Pioneer. It's like more value than like a Blue Sun Zenith or something. Double mana symbol X, draw X cards. Now, of course, you're drawing the cards from your opponent's library, but like, Pioneer's a strong format, so your opponent is going to have strong cards that you can use to beat them. You know, they might have really good creatures. They might have, you know, combos. They could have all kinds of stuff. Probably a lot more creatures than I'm running in my deck, which I can cast those creatures. I can cast those planeswalkers, use them to win the game. I can play the lands that I exile off of it. And my mana is going to be fixed. Like, this doesn't have to, it's not like an enchantment or a creature that has to stick around on the battlefield for that fixing to occur. It's an instant that happens once, and those cards are exiled, and I always have access to them. So I feel like this could actually be a really, really good card draw piece in a deck like what I'm playing. And I'm going to try it out to test that theory. The sideboard contains a couple of Pithing Needle. I like this as a nice versatile answer to lots of planeswalkers, artifacts, stuff like that. Damping Sphere is good against Lotus Field and Izzet Phoenix. A couple of negates, good against control, good against a lot of decks, really. Our graveyard hate will be a couple of Go Blanks, as well as a Erebos' Intervention. Which is a good card against aggressive matchups because it can gain life. Also good against graveyard decks because it exiles the graveyard. We have some additional sweepers. We had a couple of Path of Perils for the really aggressive matchups like Soldiers and Mono Red. We've got a Shadow's Verdict, which is really good against it's really good against like a Rakdos Sacrifice, where it can you know, it's good against Kroxa decks, where it can exile those cats, you know, exile everything 3 or less, get rid of it all. You never have to worry about the cats. You never have to worry about Kroxa. I like this as a one-of sideboard piece. And we've got Meathook Massacre number 2. Now, there used to be only 1 Path of Peril in the sideboard and a 3rd Ritual of Soot to pair with the 2 that I have in my main board. I decided to switch to 2 Path of Peril, just to make sure that I have a hedge against the real aggro decks. We'll see if it's worth it. I'm not totally convinced that it wouldn't be better to just have 3 Ritual of Soot instead of 2 Path of Peril, but we'll see. And then we've got a Shieldred, because Shieldred is busted. There's lots of matchups where it's just good to bring in, aggressive matchups, etc. We've got 1 Thought Distortion, which is good against Blue-Eye Control. Just rip all those non-land cards out of their hand, make them discard. It can't be countered. This is absolutely devastating against Blue-Eye Control if you land it at the appropriate moment. I'm worried that we're going to see an uptick in Blue-Eye Control since that horrible card, No More Lives, was printed, and they now have access to even better Mana Leak, which they didn't need, really, but they have it. So that's the deck. There's a total of 25 lands in the deck. There's a couple of Hive of the Eye Tyrants for little incidental creature beatdowns and graveyard hates. Of course, I never leave home, hardly ever leave home without some Field of Ruins. I'm packing 4 because there's just so many problematic lands that need to be dealt with in Pioneer right now. I just don't feel safe without some number of Field of Ruins. So that is the deck. I'm really excited to try out these new additions. I think Undercity Sewers is going to be clutch. and it's gonna make it's just gonna take Disinfo to the next level, where Disinfo is gonna be like a legitimate like card draw piece in the same vein as like Memory Deluge. It's gonna draw us a lot of cards over the course of the game, and really keep our opponents from ever clawing back in. So let's see how we do in some matches on the tournament practice queue. Let's hop right in. If you want to support me, you like off-meta, off-kilter MTG content, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Alright, looks like we have a match against Ramen Burger. We're going to be on the draw. That's a 1-lander, 25 lands in the deck. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that. So I can't keep that, because it's a 1-lander. This is a 2-lander, both blue lands, but I don't want to go to 5, so I'll keep this. I'll bottom Doom Whisperer. So glad you're explaining the new set. Yeah, I think the new cards are going to be good for this deck. I'm not using a lot, but the ones I'm using I think are going to be quite impactful. So let's just play our Shipwreck Marsh. Are we playing against blue-white control right away? No, it's spirits. Alright, we've got our Undercity Sewers. I hate playing against spirits. I think I'll Thought Erasure. They Spell Pierce, okay. Means they don't get to play their spirit. Mausoleum Wanderer, so they could still have up the stupid, what's it called? Hexproof dude. I forget its name. Shacklegeist? Not Shacklegeist. Geistlight Snare, okay. What is the name of that creature? So let's play our Surveil land. We'll bottom the 5th land. We really would like it's like a sweeper. I think I'll just pass. Alright, let's Fatal Push the Spectral Sailor. Slip out the back. Sure, that's fine. You can slip out the back. Let's Disinfo. More counters, okay. They only have 2 cards left in hand. Well, let's go for Thought Erasure. Spell Queller, okay. I'm going to Dundracon over President's Day weekend. Another counterspell is not what I want, really. They choose not to draw cards with Spectral Sailor. Alright, so I need to draw like Ritual of Soot plus Spell Pierce. Okay, they counter my Memory Deluge. And I don't draw the sweeper. Fine. So let's go with Path of Peril. Let's go with Negates. I think we'll go with another Meat Hook, and we'll go with Shieldred. Cut. Probably a Thoughtseize, their little aggro. Sinister Sabotage is a little expensive. I don't think I want Outrageous Robbery. Maybe I do. They have a lot of counters. Cut one Ashiok. Doesn't defend well. Shieldred's Edict is really bad. Did I bring in both Path of Perils? I believe I did, yes. I cut a Memory Deluge there. Alright, we're going to be on the play. This looks fine. Alright, let's go for a Thought Erasure. They have Spell Pierce. Could have waited a turn to Spell Pierce their Spell Pierce. Deafening Silence. That doesn't really affect me in any way. I suppose it helps them not get swept. It also helps them counter my stuff, so... Some discard? Shipwreck Marsh. Just go for Doomy. It's gonna be hard for them to deal with. I think we just kill them with Doom Whisperer, hold up our counter spells. Rattle Chains, that's the one I couldn't think of. I think I'll just counter whatever spirit they try to play right now. Supreme Phantom. Um, Counter target spell. There we go. That's what we want to do. Curious Obsession. Let's go ahead and negate that. I can't counter. They could Spell Quell, but they'll be tapped out. All right, they scoop. I think we actually want that. Let's get some go blanks in here. We'll cut. Let's cut the robbery. Actually, negate isn't the best because their most annoying stuff is like creatures. Yeah, I like that. That's fine. I like Spell Pierce better than negate. We got a massacre. But that's about all that's good. It's pretty slow. I think that's a mulligan. That's better. I think we bottom Ashiok. I don't think there's any reason to hold up Spell Pierce right now. Shacklegeist. Alright, they tap down, so we do get to Thought Erasure. Geistlight, Snare, Destroy Evil, Spell Queller. We'll take Spell Queller. I think I want to keep that Go Blank. Let's see. I want to get them with this Go Blank. I could Disinfo. I think I Disinfo. It'll get a card out of their hand. Either they'll counter it or they'll destroy evil. Or they'll let it resolve and discard a card and then destroy evil. I imagine they probably counter. Yep, there's the Geistlight Snare. Okay. So they're just shooting up the Mutavault. Alright. Let's go blank you. Discard Hallowed Fountain. Okay, so Destroy Evil is their last card in hand. They're just going to beat down with Mutavault and Shacklegeist. Sure. Just play a land and say go. Alright, let's kill the Mutavault. Might as well do x equals 3, I guess. Actually, let's just do x equals 2. Go blank. Go blank you. They discard Spell Pierce and Curious Obsession. Okay. Destroy Evil is their last card in hand. Alright, let's Thought Erasure. Get rid of their Destroy Evil, so their last card is Otawara. I'll leave Supreme Will on top for an impulse. I'm gonna be real sad if they beat us with this 2/2. Doom Whisperer. Disinformation Campaign. Murderous Rider. They actually don't have enough mana to even use their Otawara right now. I'll take Murderous Rider. Going to 2 is a little scary. How do they have 3 cards in hand? How do they have 3 cards in hand? Discards. Thought Erasure Otawara. I guess that was a couple of turns ago. Well, maybe this won't go so well. Oh, I meant to cast that as a Swift End. Sinister Sabotage. I meant to Swift End that, but maybe it's better to do it this way. So now if they have an instant speed spirit, I just die. That's too bad. Maybe the correct play off of that, do I want to draw this? I guess. They can counter a spirit. If they have a spirit right now, I just lose, though. I screwed that up. I think the thing to do off the Supreme Will was to grab... Okay, they have a Selfless Spirit. Or a Spectral Sailor. I think the correct thing to do was to grab Disinformation Campaign. And also, the correct thing to do was to kill their Shacklegeist, not just play my Murderous Rider. Disinformation Campaign would have made them discard Otawara. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's a tough matchup, but I think I kind of screwed that up. Also, Doom Whisperer was in that. Doom Whisperer was also in that pool of 4 cards. The Outlaw Wind LA, sure, will be on the play. And this hand looks good. Llanowar Elves. There's lots of different Golgari stuff that could be occurring. Let's play on blue and then search for Azcanta. Glissa. Well, that's annoying. Shipwreck Marsh. We actually want that on top of our library because we do need to make our land drop here. So I guess Glissa gets to choose whether to destroy Search for Azcanta or Disinfo. Okay, so there's a sack deck. So I'd love to draw a removal spell. This is really good. They destroy Search for Azcanta. Thoughtseize. Tyvar, Woestrider, Lovestruck Beast, Lord Skitter. It's all really bad. I guess I want Tyvar. Go for the throat. Leaving that on top means that I don't draw lands. I think it's pretty necessary, though. I gotta kill that Glissa. I could also Thoughtseize. Take something. Yeah, I guess I Thoughtseize. Let's take Lord Skitter. So they have Lovestruck Beast and Woestrider. Our draws go for the throat, of course. I think we're just passing. And we're going to kill the Glissa. Midnight Reaper. Actually think I have to counter that. That's just too much value. Land number 4. We'll leave that on top. Alright, well I think we lose this one. That's just unfortunate. Turn 2 Glissa is like one of the best things you can do against us. No doubt about it. Yeah, we draw this. But we're just dead. They have 2/3 power creatures, so we're dead. But we have sideboard against this. Like all our sweepers. Shadow's Verdict. Path of Peril is good. They're loaded with 2-drops. Meathook Massacre. I think we want Airboses too. I don't think we need Spell Pierce. Tyvar's like the only thing. Maybe Pithing Needle. I think Pithing Needle is actually good. Stitch our Murderous Rider. Ditch one of our Sabotage. Again, it's a little slow against them. I like Ashiok. I don't like Urtai. I want to cast this card, so I'm leaving it in. Although, I don't know, their whole deck is just ineffectual weenies, so I think actually I do board it out here. Because their whole deck just doesn't do very much for us. It's so dependent on their synergies. I think I can lose Thoughtseize. Alright, let's not get turn 2 Glissid again. We have Shadow's Verdict, which is great, so we'll keep this. Okay, no Llanowar Elf turn 1. That's good for us. I think we want to foretell Behold the Multiverse so that we can get up to 5 lands. Mosswood Dread Knight. That's fine. We got Shadow's Verdict. Alright, let's go for Thought Erasure. Ghost Rider Collected Company. We kind of want them to Collected Company. To tap out. Yeah, I'm gonna take Woestrider. Maybe it's a mistake. Lottery Grave is lovely on top of my library. Zulaport Cutthroat. Actually gonna shock here so I can foretell this. That's fine. I go to 11. What did they play? Llanowar Wastes. So they've got those 3 cards plus an unknown. Alright, let's behold the multiverse. Backup Ashiok plus Otawara. Actually, I'm cool with both of those cards. That's Ashiok. Make a token. Here's the Coco. That's what we wanted. Kinkerbloom and Lord Skitter. Okay. Probably going to lose Ashiok here, but that's okay. That's why we have a backup. Everything at my face. So this doesn't really matter too much what I choose here. Guess it'll be that. I do go to 4. They play their pathway. And a dork. Perfect. Okay. Shadow's Verdict. Exile everything. Make a token. Another Kinkerbloom. Their last card is Westvale Abbey, which I'm not overly concerned about. Disinfo. Alright, let's disinfo. They scoop. Alright. So we did the right thing waiting for that Coco. Now, do I want go blank here? Kinda do. Get rid of those Mosswood Dread Knights. I don't know. What else to cut besides bombs? The removal's all good. Yeah, I'm gonna cut Doom Whisperer and one Sinister Sabotage. Oh, Shieldred's Edict is not nearly playable at all. I should have cut that for sure. This is a keepable hand, but Shieldred's Edict definitely should have been cut. Alright, let's go Hive. Go. Whenever one or more other creatures you control die, each opponent loses 2. Yeah, okay. That's getting pushed. Alright. I think I want to wait on this disinfo until I can thought erasure afterwards. I'm getting greedy here. Priest. Alright, well, we'll take the opportunity to edict that. Because we're not going to get better use for edict. Sabotage. We draw Shadow's Verdict. That's an excellent card for us. They discard Wolfstrider. Mystic. Do I go for Thought Erasure here? Yeah, I think I do. And next turn I can disinfo and hold up counter magic. Bitter Triumph, Zulaport Cutthroat. What is this? Destroy target creature, play Planeswalker. Coco, they're a long way off from. I'll discard Wolfstrider. Ritual of Suits. I think I'm gonna bottom graveyard that. So they're holding up Coco. We again have our Shadow's Verdict in hand. Here's the Coco. They didn't even get to draw cards off their Midnight Reaper because they're going to get exiled. There's Glissa. Alright. So here I'm going to kill the Midnight Reaper. The reason is because this can sack stuff. I'm going to kill the Midnight Reaper here. So we want to make them make all their sack decisions now. The problem is, in response to a Shadow's Verdict, they could sack their whole board to the Woe Strider and just draw a bunch of cards. Okay. Perfect. Alright, now I do need to draw some action here at some point. Let's Shadow's Verdict. They scoop. Yeah, Shadow's Verdict, devastating against that deck. Okay. It's also very good against Rakdos Sac, so I do like having a one of in the sideboard. Alright, Stan Islav is our opponent with their Lutri avatar. We'd like to see this Gigantha as their companion, which could mean a lot of things. I guess we're keeping. We get a Surveil. Much rather do this after Disinfo Campaign. Okay, they're aggressive. So it looks like Convoke. So we lose this game one. We lose this 100% game one. Well, Meat Hook, maybe that'll be in time. I doubt it. Oh, there is it. Smuggler's Copter. Smuggler's Copter is something we don't have a lot of cards against. We got Fatal Pushes. Inti, Gleeful Demolition, okay. Ensoul. I guess we're taking Ensoul, because that makes a 5/5. Ritual of Soot. That does kill all their stuff. But so will an Massacre X equals 2, and we need a land. So let's bin that. Strange as it seems. Inti. Ridiculous card. Gleeful Demolition. The Copter. Unbanned for some reason. Look at all the value this card gets. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It gains trample. When you discard one or more cards, you discard a card to put a counter on something and give it trample, but you don't really discard the card, because you also get to exile the top card of your library, which you can play until your next turn. Pretty good for a 2-drop. Combat Courier. That's another tap land, which means I can't X equals 2 next turn. This is where having this land ETB tapped is bad for us. Disinfo we have to bin, unfortunately. We need an untapped land or else we pretty much lose. Is Inti's ability an activated ability? I think it's a triggered ability. So it can't be pithing needled. Alright, we need an untapped land right now. Spyglass Siren, sure. They have a Vildaran Epicure on top of their library, which can crew the copter, of course. Watery Grave. So I shock. I do gain a bunch of life off the Massacre. I mean, it's my only play, so gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Shrapnel Blast. Boy, that's pretty good. Okay. So we want Pithy Needle. We want Path of Peril. We want Meat Hook. We want Erebos. We want Negate. I think we want Shieldred. We want a bunch of stuff. Let's cut Ashiok. Cut at least 2 of these. Thoughtseize for sure. Probably a Thought Erasure. I don't think the Disinfo angle is going to work out overly great for us this game. Probably saw it coming. Something like this. I think that's all right. Shielded Edict is actually good-ish. It's actually not good. I should have removed it. Well, let's play our Surveil land. Spell Pierce. Leave that on top. I like having Spell Pierce and Negate to counter a Gleeful Demolition and a possible, like, Ensoul or Smuggler's Copter. Epicure. Island go. Just attacking for 1. Spyglass Siren. Okay. They discard Steam Vents to their blood token. Alright, well, we're not going to get a better chance to Edict, right? I don't know, maybe we save this for like a post-sweeper. All this does is kill a 1/1. Outrageous Robbery. That's another card that's not really good against them. Lethal Demolition. Let's negate that. Reckless Bushwhacker. Okay. Alright, I would like to draw a Sweeper. Meat Hook Massacre, please. Go for the throat. Epicure. Alright, Memory Deluge, I need you to help me. Help me find something good. They have a counterspell. Shrapnel Blast. Erebos' Intervention. Field of Ruin? None of those are sweepers. Can I top deck the sweeper? No. I think this Erebos' intervention might give me enough life to stay alive. Alright, so let's X equals 3. The Bushwhacker. Go back down to 2. And again, we're needing a sweeper. Watery Grave. So with our spot removal, we can barely live. NT. Yep. The Exiled Island. Okay. So we can kill that. They can... I think I needed to Edict in response to the NT. Now they can sack the NT. Yep. Ooh, we couldn't find our sweepers. Alright, Takusan 2014 is our opponent. Will be on the play. I think this is okay. Play a swamp so we can push if needed. Alright, looks like it might be Phoenix. Another Sabotage. I'm gonna play Otawara. Because I don't want a shock to hold up my Sinister Sabotages. Alright, they have an Arclight Phoenix. Possible I should have countered that. It's gonna be a while before they get the Phoenixes online, though. Yeah, we'll counter Rona. keep that on top so that we can get to our Doom Whisperer. I will play this, as that does leave open Sabotage and Spell Pierce or Fatal Push. Sleight of hand. Let's sabotage that. I don't think I want more lands. Alright, they do get back a Phoenix, but only one. Well, let's see if Doomy holds up. I probably just take one hit from the Phoenix so that I don't die in one burn spell. They bounce the Doom Whisperer. Okay. Search for Azcanta. Well, I think now I'm gonna shock. And I'm gonna play Doomy. Tap my mana correctly. Ledger Shredder. Gonna mill some more cards, sure. They do find another Arclight. Lightning Axe deals 5 damage. Let's go ahead and Spell Pierce that. Okay, opponent's got an upkeep stop. Let's kill the Ledger Shredder. I think I'll attack with the Doom Whisperer. Play my Hive. Play Search for Azcanta. Sure, why not? They only have one card in hand. They play their 1/3 flyer. Oh no, they played the adventure. And they have a treasure cruise. Why is this card legal? why is Dig Through Time legal? So they're gonna get down another Phoenix. It looks like, maybe? Yep. Alright. Azcanta, can you find me something good? Like a sweeper? Ashiok. Ashiok actually isn't that good. I can bounce a Phoenix, but then they can actually just recast it. They'll bin that. Supreme Will. Please find me a Ritual of Soot, Supreme Will. Actually, let's think about this. 4, 5, 6. So they also can attack with their Hall. I can Field of Ruin. That doesn't give me enough mana to... I guess let's see what Supreme Will finds. Nothing. Counterspell to let me search for my... To let me search... counterspell in case they have some way to get rid of my demon. And then I get another look at it. Another Ledger Shredder, sure. Another Treasure Cruise. Gotta counter that. Wait, I don't get to Surveil? Why didn't I get to Surveil? Okay. So what do I want to block here? I have to block one of the phoenixes because I die if I block the ledger shredder. Sure, they kill my demon. They're empty-handed. So I need one of my top 2 cards to be like Meat Hook Massacre. In that, I could transform Azcanta. Yes. Please, give me what I need. Shieldred's Edict. Jeez, I just cannot find my sweepers today. Okay. So give me Go Blank. Give me Shadow's Verdict for sure. Damping Sphere. Erebos' Intervention. Path of Peril. Meat Hook. All non-creature and non-land cards from that player's hand and graveyard. Thought Distortion? Is that something I possibly want? Probably not. It's a lot of sideboarding. 2. Edict's not good. I actually kind of like the counter spells. Thoughtseize. Yeah, the Disinfo plan actually isn't great against them because they want to discard cards. Some amount to disrupt them is pretty good. Outrageous Robbery. I don't mind Outrageous Robbery. They've got a bunch of like burn spells and cantrips and stuff. It's not really as good as what we're packing for our deck, though. Maybe Shieldred is good. Cut that. Spell Pierce is okay. Just run 61. Alright, this isn't great, but we'll take it. We'll need to find some sideboard cards. Let's just Spell Pierce that. Let them get their hands set up. Hive. Alright, let's field. Gonna mill themselves. They do get a Phoenix. All right, so let's eat their Spire Bluff Canal. They float a red mana. We'll grab an island. We need double black as well. All right, I want to be able to Memory Deluge. Ledger Shredder, sure. All right, let's Deluge. They spell Pierce. Okay. And we get punished for our Surveil land. Another Hive. I think we bin that. We're looking for our sideboard cards. Ledger Shredder. Alright, let's start killing their halls. Floataboo mana for no reason. What do we want? Another swamp. Got an upkeep stop set. Well, let's see if they've got another counter. I can't let them just sit there with two Ledger Shredders. Oh man, I want to hold this till after the disinfo, but I gotta play it. We haven't really gotten things in the right order in any games yet so far. Beat Hook. I can go on top. Treasure Cruise. Ancestral Recall. I don't know. What's more annoying? The Ancestral Recalls in Pioneer or the Orcish Bowmasters in Modern? Probably the Orcish Bowmasters. Just because they're so ubiquitous. This is the only deck that really plays Treasure Cruise. Galvanic Iteration. They're holding up that one red mana, which I know is going to be a fiery impulse as soon as I fire up the hive. I would love to exile that Galvanic Iteration, but I just don't think I can. I would also love to disinfo and draw an untapped land off of it, but I don't think that I can take the risk. I think I just gotta go for the X equals 2 meat hook. Damping Sphere. Alright. I think I just make sure that I resolve this. Then let's disinfo. They do get to surveil once off the stupid ledger shredder. Fatal Push. They discard Make Disappear. Galvanic Iteration. Double opting. So the first one costs 2. The second one costs 3. Which they can't pay for. Path of Peril. Let's cast it. Just firing up the hall. Okay. Which has Ward 3. So I could try attacking. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't leave me enough mana to Fatal Push, so I guess I don't. Firing up the hall again. They floated blue. For no reason. Okay, Murderous Rider. Now let's start eating their phoenixes. Alright, so now they're holding up their burn spell. Let's Thought Erasure you. Yep, Lightning Axe, make disappear, consider sleight of hand. Alright. They could Otawara. No, they can't Otawara lands, right? Artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. They can, actually. Do I want another Damping Sphere on the board? That I do. Whoops. Black. 2, 3, 4. They can Otawara this if they want. Okay, they just scoop. They were saving the Ottawa for the damping sphere. They scooped the match. We're too grindy for them. Well, I mean, I'm going to count that as a win. Alright, Urza's main MTG looks like our final opponent here. We'll be on the draw with a fine hand. They shock Watery Grave for Deathrite Shaman. Oh yeah, that card's legal in Pioneer too. So I'm gonna shock. No attack, okay. I think I'll go for a Thought Erasure. Grizzly Salvage. So are they just Greasefang? Squirming Emergence. Okay, they're a Soul Flayer deck. Nightveil Predator. Ooh. I like that card. So what do they have in their graveyard? They can give the Soul Flayer Death Touch and Hexproof. They can actually play... No, they can't play a Nightveil Predator next turn. So, yeah, I guess I'll just take the Soul Flayer. So they have that, Nightveil Predator, Swamp, and what was the fourth card? Deathrite Shaman, I think it was. Watery Grave. I'll top that. Wayfinder. Alright, they're using the Surveil land as well. Watery Grave. I think that we Thought Erasure again. Target non-land permanent card in your graveyard with mana value equal to or less than the number of permanents in your graveyard. I don't know how good that's going to be. Add 1 mana of any color. They can play Nightveil Predator either way. I guess we'll just take the Nightveil Predator. a surveil land, I think will actually bin. Screaming Emergence might be hard to beat. I don't even know what their land, they tap Deathrite for red. Sammet, Voice of Dissent. Shieldred's Edict. So we're taking 6, 7, 8. Next turn. Squirming Emergence gets their Nightveil Predator. It has haste. Okay. So Soul Flayer, miscellaneous good stuff. Well, we definitely want Meat Hook. We want some number of Path of Peril. I don't think Ritual Soot does us any more good than Path of Peril does. Erebos' Intervention, go blank. Probably Shieldred. Shieldred's Edict will cut. Outrageous Robbery, we just keep cutting. A lot of their stuff is just whiffs for us. Like, we have no use for Soul Flayer. Nightveil Predator is actually cool and could be good. It's going to be in their graveyard most of the time, though. Do we want Spell Pierce? I guess it's okay. We can cut Thoughtseize. Cut one Ashiok. Shieldred's Edict. That might be our only way to kill a resolved Soul Flayer. So I guess we actually want that. Cut a Sabotage. Guess I'll cut the Spell Pierces. Alright, this hand looks fine. We got Go Blank, we got a Sweeper for their early stuff. Play our Surveil land. Go Blank. Do we want Go Blank number 2? Sure. Probably want to exile their graveyard more than once. They Surveil to the top. I could have thought Erasured there. Golgari Troll. All right. I think we'll discard a creature, put a +1/+1 counter at it, regenerate it. We'll make them sack it while we can. All right, let's go for Disinfo. Okay, let's Thought Erasure. Stubborn Denial, Squirming Emergence, Soul Flayer. I think we'll take Squirming Emergence. Let's see. Could they play Soul Flayer? Yes, they could. We gotta take Soul Flayer. And we want to bin the Saw It Coming, because we're looking for lands. There's their Fabled Passage. Squirming Emergence on the Night Veil Predator, okay. Well, we don't have a good way to get rid of that. Alright, let's go blank. I guess we're needing to beat hook X equals 3 is our way to get rid of that. Or block it with Ecclesats. Alright, they got one card in hand, nothing. They've got their Night Veil Predator. Field of Ruin. Go for Disinfo just to draw a card. Ecclesats. Okay. We can trade for Ecclesats, and then we can bring Ecclesats back. Deathrite Shaman, sure. We actually don't even need to trade for Ecclesats. We can just kill them with it. They'll trade for it if I attack, I'm sure. Okay. How much does it cost to flip? 3. So I think I'll attack. They block. They eat Ecclesats with the Deathrite Shaman. Didn't see that. Should have anticipated that. Okay. Sure. Got it. Path of Peril. I think we want a Path of Peril to kill that Deathrite Shaman. They regenerate their troll. Yeah, I should have done that before I attacked. That was silly. But I think we're still good. I mean, I have a handful of cards. They have nothing really. I've got a counterspell ready. Squirming Emergence. No, I don't want that. Behold the Multiverse. Put that into my graveyard. There we go. Doomy should close things out for us pretty quickly. Satyr Wayfinder. It's going to fill up their graveyard, but we can exile it again. They left the card on top. Alright, let's Field of Ruin. Or go blank, rather. Attack for 6. Grizzly Salvage. And they found their Soul Flayer along with a whole bunch of goodies. Wow. Death Touch Flying Hexproof. Not as bad as it could be. Alright, I would love to find a Meat Hook Massacre off of this. Ritual of Soot, Erebos' Intervention. Take a Sinister Sabotage and a Shipwreck Marsh. Fatal Push. Let's Disinfo. Well, locking the Soul Flayer. They can just regenerate that for 1. They have so many hexproof targets. Guess I'm just killing that stupid Satyr Wayfinder as I can. Undercity Sewers. Ashiok, that's a good one. Okay. Did we finally get there? Let's make a token. Alright, we need them to brick this turn. They do, finally. Okay. Anything we want to change? Shadow's Verdict, maybe? Not really. Another Ashiok. They've got those Death Touch creatures. Fatal Push didn't seem great. I don't know about this. It's got nothing really going for it. I think that's a mulligan. Alright, there we have a go blank. So we'll keep that and bottom Field of Ruin, I think. Commune with the gods. For the top 5, put a creature or enchantment from in your hand, the rest in the graveyard. Screaming Emergence, Gravely Salvage. They chose Deathrite Shaman to put into their hand. Troll. They don't play Deathrite Shaman. They have red mana? Atraxa. I guess that's a good thing to Soul Flayer away. Alright, they're discarding their hand. Can do this 6/4. It's pretty hard to deal with, actually. By Path of Peril. I can go blank. I think I want to go blank. Alright, so what I need is Ashiok. 6, 7. This is tough. I don't want to make the same mistake with the Deathrite Shaman, so let's go ahead and just wipe. Let's kill the Deathrite Shaman. They can regenerate their troll. Yep. They can drain me for 2. Attack for 5. Meat hook. Perfect. X equals 4. Whoops. Do need double black on that. Alright, gain a life. Get rid of the troll. Alright, they have a Soul Flayer. 4/4 trample. That's not too bad. We can play Doom Whisper. Gather the pack. Reveal the top 5. Put a creature on the top. They grab a Nightveil Predator. They don't have the mana to cast it. Okay. They have a Nightveil Predator in hand. If I cast Aclazotz, I can't counter it. I'm going for it. This is a risky play, but it's good if it works. They scoop. Okay. Because even if they do get to play their Nightveil Predator next turn, I attack with Aclazotz. They have to block it. I can get Aclazotz right back because they'll be tapped out. I will have my counterspell available at that point. Doom Whisperer does deal with the Soul Flayer in combat. So I think we had that. Super grindy match. So, Dimir Disinformation Control for Pioneer. This is Murders of Karlov Manor style. We went 3-2 overall. We beat some good stuff. It's a very grindy deck, that's for sure. As you saw, you know, we aim to win in the very, very late game when we fully leverage the power of disinformation to trigger over and over and over again. On the whole, the additions from MKM were not very impactful. We just never drew our Surveil lands at the right time, like after our Disinfo controls. But I think I think it's a high variance kind of situation. You know, like when I was playtesting the deck, I was just like, I was hitting those under city sewers at just the right time to always be able to like pick up my disinfos for free. And it was great. When you can get it going like that, to when you can pick up disinfo for free and just keep replaying it, it's fantastic. So, yeah, I always go back and forth on like the ratio of like what cards I want, what types of cards I want, you know, how many sweepers do I need, how many counters, how many removal spells, how many discard spells. And it's an ongoing struggle that I feel like I've never gotten right. I think we're a little too light on discard on card draw now, actually. Because there were a couple of matches where like we have a lot of sweepers, you know, we can board into like 5 or 6 sweepers. And a lot of times when we come up against the aggressive decks, we really need to draw one, and we just didn't draw them. So I think that just means that we need to have a bit more card draw. We never actually got to play, what is that card? We never got to play the other Markov card that I put in. Outrageous Robbery. It just never came up at a time that was really relevant. You know, when I had it in hand, I really wished that it was a sweeper. That's the thing about it, though, like, because the draws that it provides don't synergize with our deck, even if I did cast it and I needed a sweeper to stay alive, there's a very good chance that it wouldn't provide me that, because my opponent might not be running sweepers. In fact, they're almost certainly not if they're boarding for a Dimir Control matchup like we are. So, I don't know. It seems cool, but probably it would just be better off as like some form of blue card draw spell, maybe a second Supreme Will. Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise are spells I want to avoid. The reason being because I'm playing Search for Azcanta, so I do want my graveyard to be full of cards so that I can eventually flip Azcanta, which is very good. But maybe like, I don't know. There's lots of stuff you can play. A second Supreme Will. I do like this card. It's an impulse that also can be a counter spell, so that's good. So now I'm on the side of like I need a little more card draw in my Dimir Disinfo Control deck. But I am a firm believer that the Surveil lands are in fact really good for this deck. In fact, despite the fact that it didn't occur in this stream, I think that it's a high risk, high reward situation. That's the kind of player that I am. I'm not a spike. I'm what's the term for it? Where like you just like the big flashy plays, like a Johnny. I think I'm definitely much more of a Johnny than I am a spike or whatever the other two variants are of MTG player. I like the high risk, high reward line because I need that high reward to pay off my somewhat middling skills as a Magic player. Still made plenty of mistakes on the stream, but I'm trying to get better. The more I play, the better I will get. But anyway, it's a super fun deck. You got to see how it can grind, how it can win long games, even against, you know, other very grindy decks. It just has the best late game with all the sideboard options boarded in, and with the perpetual card draw you get from the Disinfo campaigns. And it's just really fun to play. It's my favorite deck. And you'll be seeing it again as more sets release and different ideas come to mind as far as how I can tweak the build. But that's going to do it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below if you like off-meta, off-kilter MTG comment. I hope to see you in my next MTG stream, and take care.